lovelies, welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. To my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. Alright, lovelies, let's dive in today's video. Lovelies, I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok, and I thought to show you guys where a lot of people are embarking on this thing called the voters regret. And this got a lot of people reacting to the fact that people are now searching, how do I change my vote? Like, it has actually become a popular search on Google. And I was able to put up some of those stitches. I'm just going to roll it, as well as other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please subscribe to this channel if you're yet to do that, and do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. Alright, lovelies, let's dive into it.
Wait. The #1 search in red states after the election was, can I change my vote? No. Guys, what are we doing? What are we doing? Red states. I'm talking to you. What are we doing? Are we serious? Or was that just jokey jokes? Because if it's jokes, I have a sense of humor. But if we're serious, I'm concerned.
I guess we did a little F round and find out, because this is the Google trend for change my vote. And by subregion. I'm getting quite a few comments from people who are telling me they regret voting for Trump, they only voted for him as a joke, or they assumed Harris was going to win, so they didn't vote at all, and they're asking me what they can do now. The truth is, it's too late to change this outcome. This wasn't just a game, it was the decision that's going to shape the next 4 years and beyond of our lives. That's why it was so important to research and feel certain about your decision before you got to the polls. But that does not mean you're powerless. There is still stuff that we can do. You can show up and get involved. You can volunteer, engage in your community, and work to create the kind of world that you want to live in. And it is so important to be participating in local elections, primaries, and midterms. Keep in touch with your representatives to ensure that they're advocating for your interests. If you don't know who your representative is for your area, I highly recommend you take a minute to research that and find out today.
Apparently, Google and other search engine searches of how to change my vote jumped 2,300% on one website alone. Yeah.
Good morning, y'all, from your DoorDashing uncle. Happy Taco Tuesday. So one of the biggest Google searches lately is, can I change my vote? And I'm going to walk you through the steps to change your vote. All right. So to change your vote, what you do need to do, you need to go to my website. It's called bluebracelet.com. When you go there, first you do need to purchase one of my blue bracelets. That'll show that you are an ally with us, and then they will let you change your vote. Now, I have a special going on right now. Each blue bracelet is $1,000. But if you buy 2 blue bracelets, I'm going to give you the second one for half off. So your total is going to be $1,750. So the second bracelet is only going to be $750. It's a steal. It's really good. And then once you purchase the bracelet, you're just going to go home and you're going to go look for Jill Stein. Now, Jill Stein, she's gone missing. We don't know where she is. I think she wrote a letter or something to people, but we want to make sure that she's okay. So after we find Jill Stein, the third step to change your vote is to wait another 4 years. After 4 years, you can change your vote. Look at that. Nice, easy, and cost efficient, and you get a cute little blue bracelet.
It looks like ethnic cleansing. It sounds like ethnic cleansing. It's an ethnic cleansing campaign in Gaza and the West Bank and southern Lebanon. And Mike Huckabee was just named as the guy who's going to oversee the final stages of that campaign. And so our message right now is to President Biden, you've got to do something about this. President Biden, stand up for once to Netanyahu before Donald Trump successfully gets away with pinning this legacy of this ethnic cleansing campaign on you and you alone forevermore. It looks like
Not y'all on CNN asking Joe Biden for help. It's funny because it's true. Y'all are pleading with Joe Biden to do something after y'all call him Genocide Joe. Are you fucking kidding me? Y'all asked for this man to step down. He stepped down. He put Kamala Harris in front. She said that she wanted a ceasefire. She wanted everybody to get help. She's willing to talk with y'all. She's willing to make negotiations with y'all. And y'all shitted on her. Now, y'all got Mike Huckabee ready to just set shit on fire, and y'all asking for help. Y'all told us that if we voted for Kamala Harris, we were advocating for Kamala to get in office, we were on that side to not support y'all and take the watermelon out of our damn name. And we did that. And look at y'all now. And then Dearborn ass, y'all really made a deal with Trump and thought he was gonna speak up for y'all. I heard on the grapevine that Trump was supposed to make a whole speech about leaving y'all alone. No, boo-boo. Y'all turned against Kamala Harris. Y'all sided with white supremacy, and y'all thought y'all was gonna win. That man don't care about y'all. We tried to put the person that cared about everybody in the room, in office, and y'all shitted on her. And here's your sign. And it's funny because we all tried to tell y'all what was going to happen. We tried to be very calm and very collected. Y'all were anti-black, racist towards us. I've been called every name under the book because now I'm laughing. Why? Because y'all don't listen. Y'all don't listen to the people that's been here for 400 plus years. Y'all don't listen to people that's gone through this and still going through it in some way, form, or fashion. Y'all don't listen. Good luck.
I was in the school drop-off this morning, and I was standing next to this lady, and on my bag I have things that would clearly indicate that I voted differently than the majority of the country did. And she's just looking at me, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, here we go. But she looks at me, and I can tell she wants to say something, and I'm trying to brace myself for whatever it is she's gonna say, and I'm like trying to distract myself, talking to my kids, whatever. And she goes, I didn't know that Donald Trump wanted to take away the Affordable Care Act. I thought he was just gonna get rid of Obamacare, and I was all for that. And I paused because I wasn't sure if she was joking or not. And then I say, those are the same thing. They're one and the same. And she goes, well, I didn't know that. And now I don't know if I'm going to have insurance for my kids or for myself. Anyway, I empathized with her. You know, I said, I feel for you. There's all sorts of things up in the air, and it's all scary. And who knows what it's going to be like, you know? And I just kind of said, you know, I'm hoping that things aren't as bleak as we think that they will be, you know? Because I hope that things aren't as bleak as they seem to be. But anyway, it left me baffled because how are they so uneducated about the things that their presidential candidate wanted to do? Because somehow he baffled all these people into voting against their own interests. And I can't wrap my head around that. I don't know. It's wild. And I feel for these people, but also like, you chose the guy. I don't know. Good luck, Charlie.
If there's one thing I can drill into your heads today, it's that Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act, or the ACA, which was passed by President Obama and a Democratic Congress in 2010, they are the same policy. Obamacare and the ACA are the same policy. Both the Affordable Care Act and Obamacare expanded dependent insurance coverage to individuals who were 26 years old. It mandated coverage of individuals with pre-existing conditions, and they could not be denied health insurance. It made the Affordable Care Act exchanges, which provided insurance to around 30 million Americans. It also provided money to states to expand Medicaid coverage so that more individuals could have access to health insurance. And all of these things, I have several videos about that. I will tag them below if you'd like to learn more. All of these things provided beneficial health outcomes to individuals. And there are several issues with the future administration and the continuation of the Affordable Care Act. The first thing, the Affordable Care Act subsidies are set to expire in 2025, and with a Republican Congress that Mike Johnson has said he wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act, it's unlikely that these will get renewed, which means millions of Americans stand to lose their health insurance. I also made several videos about the several times that J.D. Vance has said he wants to separate risk pools between healthier people and sicker people. That is essentially removing the mandate that insurance companies need to cover people with pre-existing conditions. It's the same thing. Not to mention that Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, and again, the House is projected to be under Republican control, has said on a hot mic that he wants to repeal the Affordable Care Act. So all of the things I mentioned, all of the funding for that's getting repealed. Is the Affordable Care Act perfect? Is it the perfect healthcare legislation we want? No, but I don't think enough, especially young people, and I'm 31, I'm relatively young, enough young people understand what life was like before the Affordable Care Act and how devastating this will be for the millions of people who will lose their health insurance because of this repeal. And again, there's no plan to replace it. And as a health economist, I can't analyze it and say that there's going to be some upside here because there's just going to be a repeal. For the love of God, I need this information to get out to people because I feel like I've been saying this for months. Repealing the Affordable Care Act, the potential unwinding of Medicaid, which I can talk about in another video, it's going to, medically, I can't even fathom. It's been a rough day. Anyways, if you have any questions, let me know.
So we've traveled back in time, right? Does anybody else remember the timeline where we were talking about this when they tried to change it and take it away in his first term? I swear to God, Trumpers are morons. Morons. Garbage. Trash bag morons. Republicans are morons. Garbage, trash bag, morons. There were people that were storming their congressmen's and senators' offices in wheelchairs, saying, "Don't take my insurance away." What did you think was going to happen? Keep things right.
Well, a little over 3 years ago, I publicly shared that I was super fired up. Not because I was diagnosed with breast cancer, but because of the high cost of diagnostic testing to be diagnosed. This just really lit a fire inside of me to help advocate for change and stand up for those going through it behind me. Today, I am coming on super fired up because there is so much on the line in the election. And there has not been enough attention around the Affordable Care Act set to expire in 2025 and what that means. To be honest, before I was diagnosed with breast cancer, I was a young, healthy person. I wouldn't have thought much of it. Living this, it has changed the way I think. So, with the Affordable Care Act, it protects Americans from being discriminated against by their insurance company. If this expires, insurance companies can charge those with pre-existing conditions more or deny them coverage altogether. It also allows for breast screenings to be covered 100% by your insurance. It also covers young adults age 18 to 26 to stay on their parents' insurance. And say those young adults, if they have a pre-existing condition or even something in childhood that they outgrew, insurance providers could charge them more or deny them coverage altogether. There is so much on the line. And as a breast cancer survivor, I am horrified if this is to happen. If our insurance becomes more expensive or if I am denied coverage, I don't know what we will do. As a survivor, you are at higher risk for other cancers and you have to be under surveillance. It takes money to do that. I am just one of millions that could be affected by this. Your vote matters. Know what you are voting for. Are you voting against yourself? Are you voting against your loved ones? If you want to protect the women, you need to keep the Affordable Care Act.
I think this outcome would just sting a little less if everyone just decided to finally fucking be honest for a second. I wish his followers would just be honest about why they actually voted for him. Can we just now stop pretending like this was about the economy? Can we stop pretending like this is about taxes? I wish these deplorable individuals would just fucking admit that this was not about improving the public school system, that this was about making sure that the public school system collapses so that brown and black kids don't have an avenue to be educated, so that immigrant children don't have an avenue to be educated. They wanted a Donald Trump presidency because they don't want to spend tax dollars on public education. Just say you hate public education. Just say you don't want to educate kids with your tax dollars. This conversation would be a lot easier to have if you just were honest with us. Because you know what? We already know. We already know who you hate. We already know what your vote means. So quit pretending, okay? Quit pretending like you're a good person. You don't have to pretend anymore. Your guy won. He's the worst person in the world, and you voted for him because you like that. So just be who you are. Be who you are.
I was out for a walk last night, and one of my neighbors stopped me, and he goes, "Hey, I saw your videos." And I said, "Oh, you did? Like, that's super embarrassing that people that actually know me in real life have seen that." But he goes, I voted for Donald Trump. And I was thinking, well, I'm not surprised. I think everybody here voted for Donald Trump. Anyway, but I'm thinking, okay. And he goes, it's not for the reasons that most people are saying that they voted for him. And I go, okay, tell me about it. I don't know. I want to hear. Tell me about it. And he tells me that he's a veteran, which I knew, and he was voting with the mindset of who's going to benefit my friends and me the most. And he was telling me, you know, all the things that Trump did in his last presidency that had benefited veterans and active military members. And I heard him out, and I'll be honest, I'm not super educated on this particular subject. I'm just not. It's not something that affects me, and I know that that's naive to say, but it was not an important voting issue for me in all 3 times that Donald Trump ran. It was not an important voter issue for me, so I never really looked into it. But I do know some things. So I heard him out, and when he was done, he started, and I said, well, thank you for telling me, your thoughts on that. And he was like, yeah, and we started the whole, all right, well, see you later. And I said, hey, I heard you out. Would you mind hearing me out for just a second? And he goes, all right, I guess, and I just said, I don't know much about veterans. I don't know much about active military members, what the issues they're voting for, and what affects them in their day-to-day, but I do know some things about what Donald Trump did his first presidency. And I explained to him that I remember hearing about Donald Trump cutting veterans' benefits, their medical benefits, allocating funds to private hospitals, private insurances, and taking away funds from the VA, which do and does affect veterans still today. I also told him that I know that the homelessness rate among veterans went up significantly under Donald Trump, his first presidency, because President Trump took away funds from the Department of Housing and I think Urbanization, and they were allocating funds to help homeless veterans obtain housing and keep housing. All that to say is I told him, while I don't understand, all the reasons that you chose to vote for him, I do know that some of the stuff that he's chosen to put into place has directly affected veterans, and not even to mention that he called veterans and military servers, suckers and losers, right? Like, not even to mention that, just strictly based on the things that he has done previously. And again, I'm not super educated, so I don't know if these things are still in place. I don't know if they were reversed under Biden. I don't know, but I do know that he put those things into place and that they directly affected veterans. He said he was not aware about those things because, again, they don't directly affect him in his everyday life because he is not in a position where he is worried about his housing. He's not in a position where he's worried about his health care because he has private health care, right? But like, so many veterans were afforded care under the Affordable Care Act because it expanded Medicaid. And now, with Donald Trump wanting to do away with that, that directly affects veterans and their health care coverage. So, anyway, he goes, well, I didn't know. I didn't research into that. And I said, hey, that's totally fair. And he said, thank you for being respectful and to talking to me about it in a respectful way. And I said, change doesn't happen when two people feel angrily towards each other and they're just arguing, right? So like, what I'm trying to do is to bring awareness on issues that people didn't know about or didn't research into in a respectful way, because kindness is important even when I disagree with you, and I hope that I receive that same kindness in return. So my message today is, one, and of course always, do your research, and two, although it is hard, and I know that we're upset, and I know that we're angry that these people did not do their research beforehand, but be kind to them. And I know that it's hard, and if they're not kind to you, that's a whole different story. But if people are reaching out to you, and they're being vulnerable, I think it's important to be kind, because change does not happen with cruelty. Right? And people aren't going to change their points and their views if they are not exposed to somebody else's viewpoint. And they're not going to care what you have to say if you're being mean. So be kind. All right, have a good one.
I seriously love this. It's actually said that the number one search in red states is, how do I vote? How do I change my votes? How do you change your vote? Like, I don't understand why you're searching for that now, like after the vote have been, casted already, and there is an emerged president, and you are all out searching, how do I change my vote? Like, it does not really make sense. Like, the thing is that you had all the time in the world. You had all of your time, you have all of the energy, the resources, like even the phone you're holding, you could use it to look for all of the questions, all of the research that you want, before the election. What happened that you were not able to look for all of these things, search for all of these things, want to get your knowledge, broaden with what you actually need from what you want? Like, why are some people actually doing it now after all of the things have been said and done? Like, this is what They called medicine after someone is already died. Died. Medicine after died. Like seriously, this is just like, you know, someone have been sick for a very long time. This person has been sick, has been, instead of you to take this person to the hospital, you allowed this person to be so ill to the fact that this person couldn't make it. So when you saw that this person is at the point of dying, that is when, or the person is already died, that is when you want to take this person to the hospital. This is exactly what is happening with all of the research. Like, why are people bent on researching now? Like, what happened before? What happened before? Do you know that this whole thing is now giving what people that looks like me have been trying to say for a very long time, when they say that, you know, these people are selfish, self-centered. They love the way at which the society is being favorable to them, compared to other people. Like, it's just given, we don't care the outcome of the election. All we just want is someone, there who happens to be a supremacy instead of a colored person. Let me just use POC. Like seriously, this is actually what is given, and this is what people that looks like me have been saying for a very long time. The thing is that before this election, a lot of people, especially the ones that look like me, because I'm going to be using them as an example because they are the ones that voted 92%. They're already educated themselves. They have made all of this research. They have actually, you know, weighed the bad, the good, and the ugly. I could actually remember vividly well of a particular, sister who took to her social platform, explaining the reason why she actually wants to go for a lesser evil, that made a lot of Palestinian and pro-Palestinian people to come for her, all because she said, okay, she have weighed all of her options and she did not have any option left. She is just suggesting on her own. Then she was like, she has weighed all of her options, she has made all of her research, and in her conclusion, she feels that she is going to go for KM because she gave her reasons, which are all of these things happening right now. But do you know what? A Palestinian pro-Palestinian woman decided to, invite her on a live on TikTok to embarrass her, trying to make her look like a bad person because of people of power. She, twisted everything. Then a lot of power people were just coming for her, telling her that, oh, you when you vote for Cal, you are supporting Jane Orsi. This lady wants to explain herself, try to give reasons. All of them were like, no, anyone that is voting for KL is actually supporting power. Without them knowing that, you really, really need to make your own research. This particular lady have made her own research, have given you the reasons. It's actually left for you to make your own research without just being too sentiment, like without just, oh, I just want to do this because I want to go against this person. But no. And there are so many people that looks like me, like politician Tabitha. She was all of her, like in her social platform, she's just explaining, trying to get people to understand. So many. But the fact that people do not even want to listen. People don't want to listen. They don't want to make research then. But now they are making the research after they must have done whatsoever they feel that is right. And the worst part of it is that KM was actually saying, something concerning this Obamacare and affordable care, which might be stripped off if TP becomes and this is exactly what is happening. But the truth is that this was mentioned in her campaigns and all of that, which I posted on this platform. But a lot of people don't care. They do not want to care. People have problem that she is a woman. A lot of people have problem that she's a woman. Why some have problem that she's a POC? A lot of people like, oh, instead of her to, it's better we don't care what the outcome may be. Like, why people are getting disappointed is that they knew exactly, they knew vividly that, okay, you know, TP is not really a go-go, but they just want to do it. But they don't know that it's going to get to this extent. They were all thinking it's just because of, okay, he has a record of whatsoever accusation that he has been recorded that he got himself involved on. They were all thinking, okay, it's just that. They never knew about the policies, about how this policy works, about how it's going to affect people, about how it's not even going to affect only people that looks like me, it's going to affect every other person, no matter the color you are. This is what they don't understand. They just think that putting him there will continue their supremacy, will continue their privilege. It's actually not going to affect their privilege. Even if it's not going to affect their privilege like 100%, one way or the other, which is already affected, why they are coming out now and spilling and try making it look like they are regretting is the fact, that they see that this thing is definitely going to affect them. But when they know that, oh, it's only going to affect the minority people or the minority group, this is like, they don't care about that. But they are all panicking, making all of the research, asking about tariff, like you are asking about tariff right now. But you had all the months, all the time to Google, to make your research, to know how it works, to, everything you have to know. You have all of the time to do that. But you chose, oh, let me just vote first. After voting, then I'll come back to make the research. Like, how do you think that is going to work? That is why most of them now are getting so disappointed, because they feel that Obamacare is actually, benefiting people that looks like me because it's bearing Obama. This is just what is happening. Then the affordable care, okay, affordable care, it's definitely not, it's just, like, see, this is just exactly what is happening. So all of this, oh my god, the research, oh, I regret, is the fact that it's not going to affect people that look like, it's not as if it's not going to affect, but it's affecting everyone now. It's not a specific, like, oh, it's going to affect the minority. Even if it affects the minorities already, they already know how to deal with stuff. But you're just new now, you're knowing things. If groceries are high, right, it's not going to be high for only people that lose like me. It's going to be high for every other person, unless you don't want to go grocery shopping. If affordable care or Obamacare is removed, it's not going to be removed from only people that looks like me. It's going to eventually affect every other person. This is what happens when you put someone selfish, someone that does not really care about you, someone that is all about my own self-interest. This is what happens when you vote into somebody like that. Which we pray that, oh, things are going to really work out fine. Which I believe deep is like, I think something like me, inside of me thinks that things might probably come out, good at the long run. So all of this research, all of this, oh, I want to know how it works. What is tariff? What is Obamacare? Oh my god, it's going to affect me. They are all panicking or trying to feel remorseful, because this is not only going to affect minorities, it's eventually going to affect every other person. Maybe if you're super rich, it's not. So this is why it's as if the search from that area, from the right side, is just getting, because now they are trying to understand what, you know, people that looks like me have been telling them for the longest time, but they do not want to listen. They don't want to believe. They don't. We don't want colored people. Like, we don't want them. We don't want POCs to become for what. So it's better we put in this person, whatever he brings, we are just going to deal with it. And this is it. This is what you ask for. This is what you should get. Like, seriously. They keep on telling these people, they keep on trying to make them understand even before the election, but they do not want to understand because they feel that you are telling them this because you want it to benefit you as well. They are very comfortable and happy when things benefit only them, and the minority people just have to suffer for it. Anyway, lovelies, when I saw this, I decided to put it up here because a lot has been happening. People being, leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We're just here for educational purposes. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do your girl a huge favor to click on the subscription button, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one. Up to this extent, thank you so much for all the love and support. Why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video, and please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational and informative purposes. So leave me your own thoughts, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.